Good morning. My name is Charles Boudreaux, and I'm a student at Columbia College. At present, I'm seeking a degree in business administration, of which now I'm in my final semester. I'm enrolled in Introduction to Speech for basically two reasons. First off, I would like to use this class as a vehicle in which to improve my abilities as a public speaker. And secondly, the class is required for my degree. Keeping that in mind, today what I'm going to do is I'm going to give a speech that covers my experience in public speaking, and I'm going to go over some weaknesses that I have, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about ways in which that I can remediate those weaknesses. So over the last 10 years, I've gained quite a bit of experience speaking in front of people. It started, in Iraq and Afghanistan, teaching small groups of soldiers maintenance tasks. The classes that I gave there and the small speeches were really informal, and really shooting from the hip. However, what that experience did for me was give me the opportunity to learn to gauge the needs of my particular students and then tailor those classes to meet those needs. Today, what I do is I teach formal classes to larger groups of soldiers. And we follow a lesson plan, and then within that lesson plan, it allows us to tailor our whole class to the individual needs of the different types of soldiers that come to our classes. So at the start of every class, what we do is we go over exactly what we're going to cover, how we're going to cover the material, and what we hope the soldiers are going to gain from being in the class. And I feel that this is important because it gives the student an idea of exactly what's going to happen throughout the day, and it gives them a reasonable expectation of what they're going to get from being what they're going to get from spending time with us. As with everything in life, I have considerable room for growth when it comes to speaking in front of people. First off, one of my greatest weaknesses is that I tend to get distracted by questions that a student might ask. I underestimate the amount of time that it's going to take me to fully cover the question, and so that I can provide the student with a good answer and an understanding of what his issue is. What happens is that I spend too much time on the question, and it pushes the whole class to the right. And so I end up going over time for the particular block of instruction that we're trying to cover. Secondly, if I get nervous or really distracted during the class, I lose my place. If that happens, it takes a tremendous amount of effort on my part to bring it all back into focus, and get back on track. And when this happens, it really throws the class off, and I can imagine it's very confusing for the student who doesn't know what's going on. So some of the things that I can do to remediate and to help lessen the effects of my weaknesses is, first of all, I need to have a reasonable expectation of the amount of time that it's going to take for me to answer a question that a student has. And if I find myself going over that allotted amount of time, I need to just stop and tell the student that we can go ahead and cover that at the next break or at the end of the class, and then continue on. Secondly, if I do find myself distracted and lose my place, what I need to have is basically a set of 3x5 note cards with the order of operation of the class handy, so that if I lose my place, what I can do is just refer to my note cards, and then it'll basically help keep the class going on time and on target. So, in conclusion, I have a wealth of experience, when it comes to public speaking, whether it's from the time spent in Iraq and Afghanistan teaching soldiers to the formal classes that I put on today. I have a vehicle in which to continually improve my abilities as a public speaker. So as long as I can understand my weaknesses and put into effect the remediation that I have for that, it'll allow me to continually improve and give better classes and speeches. Thank you.